1960. On the first club evening of the new year, new member Teresa brought along her sister Jennifer. I had bought some scrapbooks, so we set on with doing them. On the third week, another member, Janet, came, brought by Mavis, and we had a table tennis evening. We also decided that we would have our annual social and sale, so I bought some embroidery, etc. to get on with. A lot later on, we wanted to go for our hike on Good Friday, and we worked out that the bluebells would be out, and we decided to go to Epperstone Woods this year. Teresa will tell you all about it. The Good Friday hike. On Good Friday, myself, Christine, Wendy, Pat and Mavis set out for a hike to Epperstone Woods. We met at the corner of Coppice Road at 10 o'clock and set off across the cornfield to Mapley Plains. As we were walking down into Woodborough, Wendy found a half-a-crown. Then, when we reached the nearest ice cream shop, she bought us all an ice cream. We arrived at Epperstone Woods about 12 o'clock, had our lunch, and then picked some bluebells, primroses and wood anemones. Then we neared the end of the wood and began to pick flowers very fast. We then crossed some fields, and when we were in Epperstone, we sat down on a seat and had something else to eat. Now we had 2 hours in which to look around Epperstone. We walked along and up a small hill. Facing us was a steep hill, and Christine and I did not fancy walking up the hill, so we waited at the bottom. After about 15 minutes, the others appeared, and we went back to the Cross Keys and caught the bus home. Teresa Andrews. Wendy writes, I might add that we all came home for half fare. As the summer came on, we moved down the garden and also went up the fields, cooking our supper. We had 2 evenings at Carrington Lido, and although it wasn't exactly boiling hot, those who went enjoyed themselves thoroughly. Before we broke up for our summer holiday, we decided another outing to Skegness would be exciting. Mavis will write about it over the page. Pictures from the Good Friday hike. Skegness outing, 1960. Wendy, Betty, Brenda, Janet, Pat R. and myself met at the end of Sandfield Road at 9:10 on Sunday the 24th of July. We walked down the hill and caught the 52 bus outside the library. Pat E. and her boyfriend caught the bus at the Conservative Hall. At Victoria Station, we met Eddie and his friend Garth, who was going on an outing with the St. Martin's Youth Club. We caught the 9:25 train and arrived at Skegness at 11:30 o'clock. From the station, we walked down to the beach and found a sand dune to sit by. Wendy, Betty, Janet, Pat R., Eddie and Garth went down to the sea to paddle, and they got thoroughly muddied up. When they came back, we ate our sandwiches and then sunbathed. Pat and Janet changed into their bathing costumes and went swimming. Pat E., Malcolm, Betty, Brenda and Garth left us to go round the fun fair and to find a place to have tea. It then started to rain slightly, but not a lot. Pat and Janet came out of the water and changed. They then played with a beach ball for about 3/4 of an hour. About 3:45, the remainder of us set off to look round the fun fair. When we arrived there, Eddie and Wendy left us. We, Pat R., Janet and myself, left the fun fair and walked round the boating lake. We sat by the lake and ate our tea. By this time it was raining heavily, but was soon over. When we reached the station, it started raining again, so we sat down and waited for the others. As it was nearing 8 o'clock, we decided to go on the train and find a compartment. We saw Wendy and Eddie, who said we could go in their compartment. After some fuss with the youth club, we moved down the train and found another compartment. The train arrived at Victoria Station about 10:45 p.m. and most of us arrived home by 11:15. And a couple of photographs taken on their trip to Skegness. 2 more photographs on the next page. When we started meetings again in September, our main item on the agenda was the social. This was to be held on December 3rd at the usual place, so we all got on with something towards the sale. We had a very successful evening as usual, and made a profit of £13 10. We decided to combine our usual Christmas party with the social, and gave out the prizes during the evening. Prizes as follows: attendance, Mavis with 31 out of 34 points, Mavis 120 points, cup, Teresa 6 times. We also gave Mr. and Mrs. Stacey a gift of 2 towels. This is what turned out to be the invitation to the final Sheredean Club Grand Christmas Social. On Christmas Eve we met for our carol singing party, and I am very pleased to say that several old members and friends of the club joined us, and at one time we were more than 20 strong. After doing the usual rounds, which were met with the usual generous contributions, the older members went down to the Friar Tuck to ask permission to sing in the bar. Fortunately, the publican was very interested in the work for Dr. Barnardo's, and we spent about an hour singing and collecting money. When we got home, we were very grateful to learn that we had collected nearly £4 10, the most I think we have ever collected in one night singing. Here is the receipt and letter received from Dr. Barnardo's for the whole amount of £18, the same as last year. And that is the receipt for the payment into the bank. This was the letter that Wendy received from Dr. Barnardo's Homes. The receipt for £18. Wendy compiled a list of amounts sent to Dr. Barnardo's over the years. 1947, 13 shillings and sixpence. 48, £2 12. 49, £1 19 shillings and threepence halfpenny. 50, 7 shillings and twopence halfpenny. 51, £4 18 shillings and sixpence. 52, £3 6 shillings and 11pence. 53, £2. 54, £10 15 shillings. 1955, £4 7 shillings. 56, £5. 57, £2. 58, £8. 59, £9 13 shillings and threepence. 1960, £18. 61, £18. A total of £91 12 shillings and 8pence. Rosemary gave me the 7 shillings and 4pence to make it up to a round figure of £92, and the receipt is over leaf. And the receipt. The letter that Wendy received. The total of £92 donated from 1947 to 1961 does not appear a large figure in 2018, but I have calculated that this equates to over £220,000 by today's values. The club ceased to be active in 1961. Pat had already married, and Wendy, who had run the club since then, was herself planning to marry. The club held reunion meetings at Nottingham Castle in 1961, 71 and 91, and at Arnold Park in 2001, 6 and 11, and the final one at Arnold in June 2016. This is a picture of Pat with Josie at the 2001 event. This is a picture of Pat and Josie, who is holding a logbook at the 2001 reunion. Whilst working on the Sheredean Club story, I have been impressed with what Mrs. Pat Briggs achieved. She is now in her mid-80s and is living near Bridgnorth in Somerset. I asked her to send me details on what she has done and is doing now. This is her reply. Pat Briggs, My Interests and What I Do, August 2018. Girl Guiding includes Trefoil Guild, Knit and Natter Group, National Trust member, Youth Hostel Association Life member, British Group for Ornithology, recording birds, butterflies and other wildlife in the garden every day. North Petherton Walking Group, not active, they walk too fast for me now. J Singers Choir, member for 20 years. North Petherton Community Centre Committee, representative for guides and brownies. Unique Fitness Gym, member for 20 years. Parish Rep for the Children's Society, collect and count money from boxes once a year and then get it to the bank. I have been doing this for over 25 years. Plus, I look after myself, the bungalow and the garden. I do knitting, sewing and parchment craft. For example, make my own birthday and Christmas cards. I listen to the Archers, watch TV, mostly house or gardens or wildlife programs. I am teaching myself to play the keyboard and try to practice most days. I enjoy camping, walking and meals in the garden. Painting. I have stained most of the windows and doors outside this year. I do word searches most evenings before bedtime. My week, just an idea, each week is different. Monday, cleaning and gardening. Tuesday, gym, knit and natter, J Singers. Wednesday, go to Bridgewater on the bus. Thursday, hairdressers. Friday, gym. Saturday, local shopping, meal out in our local cafe sometimes. Sunday, local farm shop for meat, fruit and veg. Washing and ironing, plus a fit-in gardening when fine and other jobs in between. My job at Guides is as treasurer. My job at Trefoil is doing the programme and acting chair as needed. I have a new camera and a wildlife camera in the garden, so getting into taking snaps. I do have a gardener to do the heavy jobs, mowing, etc. Thank you very much, Pat. The wedding of Pat and Derek Briggs on the 7th of September 1957. Wendy is on Pat's right, with their parents behind Wendy. I finished this story of the Sheredean Club with Pat and Derek on their wedding day, with sister Wendy and their parents.